You are now tuning in to the Core Focus Podcast.
Good morning, good afternoon, or wherever you are in the world. Welcome back to another episode of the Core Focus Podcast.
We're your hosts, Alyssa and Ryan, and on today's episode of the Core Focus Podcast, we'll be focusing in on the topic of summer outside.
That's right. And today we have joining us is Skylar Barnes.
Hi, guys.
And Aaron Wilson.
Hey there, how you doing?
Yes, well, thank you both so much for being here. We appreciate you guys giving your time and engaging in our conversation. So we're just going to get right into our first question.
Let's do it.
So our first question for today is, how have your habits and day-to-day activities changed during the summer, now that we are no longer basically in lockdown?
I definitely feel like they've changed a lot, especially having more time on my hands and not being inside and being able to go out to beaches, go in-person shopping, and just like being able to be outside and not cooped up in the house.
It's definitely changed for me. During the pandemic, it involved a lot of gaming.
Yeah.
Like, so my friends and I would we would be chilling. It'd be late at night. We'd be playing video games until 1 a.m, just because we had that luxury and we had that time. Nowadays, because I'm older now and because I got stuff to do, I'm really not out past 12 a.m. anymore, which is kind of weird. I feel like I should be out, but not really. I'm usually at home watching YouTube videos, but I do think my typical behavior and my sleep schedule has significantly changed when you compare it to what was happening during the pandemic, because my circadian rhythm was all the way off. And now, I'm back on track. So that's cool. I like that.
Yeah.
I feel that. My sleep schedule... Go ahead, sorry.
You got started.
Okay, my sleep schedule has changed so much too. But I feel like during the pandemic, I was low-key sleeping more because I didn't really have very much to do. So I was just napping all day.
Definitely.
Unless I actually had something and I was okay, let me be productive and find something to do with my time.
Right,
but
right.
now I'm trying to make use of my time so I don't even sleep as much.
Right.
Yeah, I think for me, I just got so comfortable going virtual for almost everything.
Yeah.
So that transition back to in-person, especially going back to in-person classes this semester, I was like, dang.
Yeah.
I'm not it was my first full experience really going into the classrooms and whatnot. So it's just a whole new world. I'm used to just waking up, logging in, and just
going back to sleep.
Yeah.
That's what I would do.
Yeah, that's what I did a lot too. But I feel like during the pandemic, when it started, there was a lot of what do you say? When people were in the pandemic, they realized it was going to be in this position. We were going to be in this position for a long time. So it was it's rather we're gonna make the best of our time. We're gonna go to the gym and come back looking different. We're gonna read and learn how to teach or do some new skills, or you're just gonna have this be wasted time. And depending on how you used it, I don't think there was a waste. Maybe you got some peace, or maybe you were just trying to take care of yourself. But now I'm not in that mindset anymore. Now it's let's get through the day. What do I have to do? Let's get through it, instead of how can I build myself up a little bit more? So that's another difference between, being on lockdown and being back to what's almost normal, or what is our new normal.
Yeah.
That's actually a good point. I remember seeing social media posts last year, or it's been 2 years. So I remember seeing social media posts in 2020, and people were we have so much free time. So if you're not picking up a skill or doing something different with your life, you're wasting your time.
Yeah.
But it's people were healing or dealing with that, the situation so differently. So I feel like that just, there was way too much going on. So I feel like you can't really be if you didn't do this, then you're just lazy. It's no, people had to mentally.
Kudos to those who, took advantage of that time.
No, for real.
Definitely.
And kudos to you if you didn't,
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Self-care.
Yeah, as long as you're here, good job.
Yeah.
Yeah. So going on to the next question, do you think that your desire to go outside and go out more has changed now that we aren't confined to our homes as much anymore?
I feel like sometimes you just want to stay in the house. You don't want to go out. You don't want to do nothing. And then other times it's I've been so cooped up for so long.
Yeah.
Let's go out. Let's stay out. It's definitely been a change from being at home all the time to like being able to go out. So I feel like I've definitely felt like I wanted to go out more because I've been so tired of being inside.
Yeah.
For so long, yeah.
Yeah, it's that has also varied for me. I think it truly depends on for some people, as sad as it is, if you got COVID or not. Because a couple weeks ago, I got COVID. I'm all good now. At least I can't transmit it right now, so that's good. But when I got COVID, I was in my apartment for 10 days. I did not even just in my apartment. I was in my room for 10 days. I left for like, just to go get something from my door every once in a while, but I was stuck in my room. And, for the most part, it started to it didn't play with my mind. It gave me a lot of peace because I had a lot going on in my life. I had 2 jobs. I had an internship, and I was in school and I was trying to do research. There's just so much.
Yeah.
And when I got COVID, I had a valid excuse to truly relax. Mm-hmm. But after about a week of that, it started to change for me. It was like, dang, I'm up in this house all the time. I need to leave. So for a minute, that really amplified how badly I wanted to leave my house and participate. Even if it was like, one of my friends was like, let's go to the store. I'm like, yeah, let's go to the store.
Mm-hmm.
Because we should go to the store.
Going outside just felt like an adventure anyway.
Yeah. The first day I was out, I went to the beach and had a bonfire. It was cool. The fire marshal came and was like, yeah, you got to put that out. But it was cool. It was cool.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
What about you? Oh.
Whoa.
Whoa. Why are you trying to be yourself?
That's the second time.
I don't know. I feel like kind of like Skylar said, like since we were cooped up for so long, I feel like now that we actually have like the ability to go out and do stuff, I've been wanting to more, and just kind of like, it's like I'm trying to recreate the summer that we were supposed to have, at least for me after I graduated.
Right.
So now I'm like, okay, I finally have that free time. Let me actually go out and do stuff. Yeah. But at the same time, I think I got so used to like being in my own space and giving myself that self-care that sometimes I'm like, I do just need a mental break and just need to like be isolated and be by myself.
Yeah, I felt that too. Man, it's just a lot. I have a lot of thoughts about it. 'Cause I really do enjoy being by myself, being inside now since COVID happened.
Yeah.
I feel so comfortable with it.
Yeah.
But also, like you guys said, been inside for so long now. I really want to go out and adventure. But to me, sometimes it's weird because sometimes it's just like.
So used to
it. It's kind of weird communicating with people now. I'm back to normal now. But it was a slow and long transition, and that I had to get used to this past semester. So I'm definitely now I'm at the point where I am ready to go back outside and enjoy life and the amazing things it has to offer. Finally getting that, like you said, that college summer that we've been wanting before everything happened. So.
But I definitely feel like being inside became like almost our new normal. Like we were so used to being inside and not going out, or if you did go out, it was simply just to go to the store. Mm-hmm. But like I feel like just our new normal kind of felt like being inside, staying inside, watching Netflix, not doing anything, or if you were doing something, it was inside the house. Like it wasn't outside.
Yeah.
Grocery shopping.
Instacart.
Instacart. Shein.
No, Shein.
Everything online.
Fashion Nova.
You use Shein?
You don't?
You know what? I'm not
my
gonna talk
goodness.
bad on Shein. I don't got time to do that right now. But
My shopping was just online.
Yes.
Everything was very much
still is today.
Yeah.
For real.
Because it got so used
Still
to
is
it.
today.
It's like we need I feel like I wanted everything quick. Like after I saw that it was like plausible, I'm like, okay.
Going to the
store, going to the mall. Now sometimes feels like it's like a trip.
I get overwhelmed.
It's a whole hassle.
Too many
You be
people.
coming home ready to sleep.
All you gotta do.
I be ready to
work
sleep.
out for the day.
See, personally, I still enjoy doing that because it kind of reminds me of what happened or how life was like before the pandemic.
Yeah.
Like I remember because before the pandemic, like in 2019 when it was first discovered, I was in high school or I just graduated high school, and so I would go to the mall and hang out with my friends. We would go bowling. We would go just doing small things, and doing that now, although, there are other ways of getting some of these forms of pleasure, I guess, through shopping and through doing other stuff by staying at home. I feel like going back and doing that reminds me of what life used to be like before this happened. And, you know, as okay as life is now, I kind of miss it. You know, it's like, it took me getting COVID to not have to worry about wearing masks and stuff like that, you know? And now, like it kind of feels like that again, despite the fact that, you know, you see people wearing masks, but like, you know, as nice as it is to have those resources and things like that, I think, you know, going outside as much as you can is good, just so you can rewire your brain into, you know, getting used to not getting used to this new normal, but truly trying to get back to what we were before, you know, because that's important. You know, I don't feel as social as I was back then, but I would like to be, you know?
Yeah.
I feel that.
Yeah.
It's like you notice that there's a change, but you still want to kind of maneuver back to that feeling of like how life really was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It makes me sad sometimes.
Man, the only thing, to me, I think the hard part about going out more now, just the whole COVID thing that happens, if you want to talk politically or whatever, is just how everything just increased, especially with gas prices. Oh. So now it's just like, especially now I'm entering a world where I have more responsibilities. I got to take care of my own gas money.
Gas do be high.
I'm like, maybe I should just stay
It's
inside.
literally gonna stay back inside.
I should just stay inside.
We
Yeah.
need to cancel those plans because it's just, we're at what,
$7.
nearly $7
for
now
a gallon.
for a
$6.99.
gallon of gas.
Or commute. And I mean, I know it's like all commute, but like if you got 4 of your homies in the same car, it's kind of jam packed. Don't get me wrong, but like that's social bonding right there. And then
Carpool.
If you carpool, you don't have to pay. You do not have to pay for your own individual gas tank. Instead, you're helping out your homie by helping them get to the gas limit that they needed to get to, and you're all having a good time, and then you're making the journey last longer.
Yes.
That's some good stuff.
I
right
went
there.
to the beach. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're good. No, I'm done.
But
I'm done.
I went to the beach like last Saturday, I believe, and there was like 4 of us in the car, and I was like, "Here's the deal, guys. We're going. You got to pitch in gas. Gas money. I'm telling you, we're not leaving until we get to the gas station. Get to the gas station. Everybody Apple pay me $10 for gas. We were on the way to the beach. That was gas money there and back. And we had like a fun time. Like we all got to bond. And it was like not our first time going out, but it was like a good experience to go out together as a group again. Because we hadn't done that in such a long time.
Yeah.
It's good. It's good. I think we need to find a nice balance between the two. Like, it's good to stay inside and watch Netflix, or to have some of your friends come by and watch like scary movies and things like that. But it is also important to make sure that you don't just stay cooped up in your house all the time, because you know you got to get out there. You got to live the life. Yeah.
That kind of brings us to our next question. So we were talking about, you know, like behaviors, I guess, how our behaviors have changed, or like stuff that we kind of still do post-COVID. So tying into that, the next question is, have you found yourself staying consistent with any additional hobbies you picked up during the last time we were in lockdown?
Definitely.
That's a good sign.
I started doing digital art, which before I had no like passion of like art. I'm semi good at it, but I was like, I got a new iPad with the pencil. I was like, let me just try it out and see how it goes. Turns out I'm kind of good at it.
Word.
I feel like, yes, I'm kind of good at it. So I was like, oh my goodness.
Not gonna lie, kind of good at it.
So, I mean, I'm hyping myself up, but I'm kind of good at it. And I was like, I'm gonna just keep this going and kind of see where it goes. And I definitely enjoy it. I feel like it's fun to do it. And then, like, another thing that I started doing was, like, car rides. Like, long car rides at nighttime. Like, you just hook up to your Bluetooth.
Your aux.
You must got money,
and you just vibe. No, that was before gas decided to get real expensive.
Oh, that was like when it was like $2?
That's,
Man.
Let's say
You were
that.
like, okay, bet.
Yeah, well, when it was like that, I was like, okay, like, I'm gonna just go for some little joy rides, have fun, like, clear my mind, come back home.
That was
and
good.
just then I'd be locked up again, but come back home, like,
least you
after
gotta
just
go
driving around, like, it's just
Clear your
fun.
mind, yeah.
Yeah.
Peace of mind.
Yeah.
That's actually valid. That's like my favorite form of self-care too.
No, Yeah. for
But like
real.
Ryan said, after the gas price went up, I was like, maybe I'll just sit in the car. Maybe I'll just sit in the car and listen to music.
Sit and stare.
And then go back home.
And then all of a sudden your battery like runs out and you gotta go to AutoZone, and it's a whole nother
Adulting.
issue. I personally, as I said, during the pandemic itself, like when we were in lockdown, I started, or I didn't say this, but I was going to. I started working out a lot more. After we were released, I continued to do that. I stayed
That's
consistent with
good.
doing that. And it feels good because like I look at the pictures of where I was before, like when I was a little freshman, and I mean, I'm not huge now, but I'm like, oh wow, I can lift weight, you know? I'm like, I can bench more than 225 now. Like that's good. I was waiting for that to happen. And another thing that I do consistently now is martial arts. Like I've been making sure that I stayed adamant about being able to learn or continue to learn how to defend myself, and of course to use that as an outlet for me to build my self-esteem. And I think like, you know, those are two positive things that happened because of the pandemic, but I know there's some other people that are like me that were not in the same boat. I mean, I know a lot of kids like me, not kids, I'm 21, but like a lot of young people like me in the pandemic started using substances during that. I think that's something real that you need to talk about.
Right.
You know, like you get locked up in the house and you're sad all the time or you feel a certain type of way. And there are some people that have resulted to using alcohol or to using drugs to mend the form of pain that they have. And after the pandemic happened, that started becoming something that would continue to happen. And I think it's important for us to remember as people that we sometimes can fall into habits, but it's important for us to recognize what is happening and what is good for our health and what is a detriment to our health. What is helping us but maybe harming the people in our community or harming those that are around us, which, you know, doesn't really help us in the long run. So a lot of good has come from, you know, being able to leave the pandemic, or that lockdown stage. But I feel as if there might be some individuals that really need help considering where we're coming from or where we just left, you know?
Yes.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Not to be a downer, I'm just saying, just keep it
No,
real.
that's
you know?
valid.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of people, you know, pick up different coping mechanisms when we were in the pandemic and
Exactly.
lockdown.
Yeah.
And like, you can't really bash anyone for it because it's like, however people decided to cope is how they decided to cope. But it's just like, hopefully now that we're kind of somewhat maneuvering out of that sense of like being on lockdown, people are able to like go out more or being a little more proactive, I guess, about like wanting to change for the better. But it's not always easy, so.
Yeah, and I hope those people that do decide to go out, I hope that, like, you know, if they feel that way, like, I hope they do go to church or something like that, because, you know, most of the experiences that I've had in churches have been really positive, and most of the times people have been very uplifting and understanding of what people have gone through. So, like, say, for example, you fell into a form of alcoholism because of the pandemic and you can't find out how to stop. If you go to church, I'm pretty sure that there are people that are willing to sit down with you and help you get through that, or better yet, let you know, hey, I was right there with you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I think that community is very important to get through those setbacks.
Definitely.
Yeah, it kind of just shows that like they're not alone and that they could definitely reach out for help.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's a good thing to do.
Yeah.
How about you, Liz?
Hobbies, I like, at the beginning of the pandemic, I always used to like enjoy writing even before the pandemic happened. And then once I was just locked in my room, confined to my room, I tried to do a lot more. And it was kind of disappointing now looking back on it, because I remember all of like the end or like the middle part of the pandemic, I started writing like another book, and I was actually really like, it was flowing. Like my creativity was flowing, because I was, you know, just in my room and like just in my own thoughts. I was like, okay, this is good.
Right.
But then once stuff started opening back up and I was like, I want to be outside, and that kind of like started falling off. So I haven't really latched back on to doing it. But I feel like now I'm kind of being more aware and realizing like, why are you just giving up something, you know? So I'm trying to kind of go back and continuing those, I guess, hobbies you could say, especially if it's like something good. But yeah, writing. What else have I done? I started going to the gym. I was not consistent with it. I'm not gonna. I definitely wasn't. During the pandemic, so I was. And then I feel like now that stuff is opening back up again, I've been a lot busier with just any type of responsibilities. So I like, even though that's an excuse, I'm like, well, I don't have time for the gym. But, you know, hopefully I pick that back up too.
Okay, but side note, the gyms are packed.
That's a good point.
Oh my goodness.
They're packed now.
Packed, too many people.
Especially in the summer. Everyone want to get a summer body.
It
my
be getting kind of
goodness.
nasty in
yeah.
there.
I try to go at like 8 in the morning, packed. I'm like, what are y'all doing up? It's summer. We sleep. Please be sleep.
You know what?
Seriously.
The best time to go is right before it closes, Believe it or not,
really is.
because at UCI we have our own, like, we have the ARC, we have our own gym thing that like all the students have access to, and it used to close at like 12:30. I would go at like 10:30 or 11, and it would be close to nobody in there.
Yeah,
and I'm not in the
Honestly,
gym.
those late night workouts, they feel good.
No, they do.
They really do feel good.
They do.
They
Like,
do.
imagine you just go through like a super stressful day, and you're just like, man, I'm tired, and you're just like, no, I'm gonna make myself go to the gym, and then you go and you play your adrenaline or your good music,
All that-
and you
all that
you
energy
just
into it, yeah.
exactly, and then you leave and you feel good.
And you're clear. There's not that many people in there. You're
Yeah.
feeling good.
Yeah.
And
That's
you
why
can feel like you could rest. Like,
Yeah.
you're going to get a good night's
Nice sleep.
Nice.
That's
You're
true.
gonna
go
be
home,
knocked.
shower,
And then
Knocked.
just yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely going to the gym. I actually finally picked up on that about 2 months ago. I started, and I've been loving it ever since. Going with my gym buddies. We go in there, we support one another, we get out of there, have a good time, talk it out, and then also, I think that's kind of where this podcast even formed. Is just our love for starting conversations, and so right around the same time we started this podcast. I was actually started listening to other podcasts. I started getting into shows like The Breakfast Club,
Oh, okay.
just shows like that, and I really started to open my mind up about different conversations of what's going on in the world.
Yes.
I started listening to more audiobooks as well. Actually, I kind of slowed down on that, but I definitely have been thinking about putting it back up. I think the last book I read was Emmanuel Ako's Uncomfortable Conversations with a Black Man. Definitely a good book. I definitely recommend. And so just listening to those, I'm not a reader. For me, my attention span is so short. I can't sit down and look at a book.
You don't be
But if
reading?
You said what?
You don't be reading?
I do. I'll read, but if it's a book or an audio book, I'm choosing the audio book.
Oh, I got
Because I
you.
can multitask. I can clean my room,
Right.
listen to my audio book.
Valid.
I can if I'm going for a long drive and I'm not feeling like listening to music, I'm gonna listen to my audio books or my podcast.
Yeah.
And have a good time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Those are all. I feel like all of us, we have like healthy
Yeah.
Yeah.
habits or hobbies
For the
that we-
most
That we
part.
definitely started.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, but tell me, have y'all started rearranging your room ever so often?
I thought
Every
about
other
it.
week.
I thought
Tell
about doing
me,
I
that.
did think
like,
about it
you just
too.
need a little bit of
lazy.
change. You've
That's
been in that
like-
room for too long.
Yeah.
And you'd be like, let me just change this, or let me go to the store and buy this. When you know you don't need it. You
Five
know
Below.
you didn't buy too much.
My holy grail.
Goodness.
That's
I felt
actually,
that.
yeah, I definitely did that too. Changing your environment, especially that's a good point. Because especially when we were like confined in so long, I'm like, I need to switch up. Like something has to change because I've been in this for like 3 months. But yeah, all good hobbies. Before we go on to the next question, it's that part of our segment, it's that segment of our show where we shift our focus. So we have the bowl. Do you want to pick it, Rye?
Did I pick it last time or did you pick it?
I don't remember. Maybe we should let our guests pick one.
Yeah,
Here, we'll let y'all
go ahead,
pick
Scott.
one. Ooh, trying
This
to
is
maneuver
new.
around the.
I haven't been here since season 1, so this is new.
It's
Me
a new,
and Aaron
it's a
or
new
just me?
segment.
Oh, you go ahead.
Okay.
Whichever, however y'all want to do
Yeah,
it.
you go ahead. I can answer. Yeah.
Let's see. What do you think the best show on Netflix is right now?
Ooh. That's
hard.
Best show on Netflix.
Oh my goodness.
Are you talking like, ooh, what? I'm gonna let y'all go first.
I can't even. I feel like there's been so many new shows. Recently.
Can I look at my Netflix to see what I've been watching? Because
I
I
think you got me on
definitely.
Criminal Minds, but that's
That's my show. Criminal Minds is always going to be my show. I've rewatched it like probably once. It's my second time rewatching it because
Netflix is.
Why
What's
not?
a good Netflix series? That
I'm
had
trying to-
Squid
popular
Games?
lately?
Oh,
personally,
okay.
feel like
I know.
was good.
I know. This just came out not too long ago, but it's called Heartstoppers. It's like a foreign like series, but it's so good. You guys like have to watch it. I'm
Never
telling
heard of
you, it's
that.
Never heard of that.
Okay.
And then
Foreign.
like second,
Oh, go ahead.
it's gonna be like. It's got to be Vampire Diaries. Y'all don't understand how many times
Oh,
I have
okay.
I
rewatched
haven't finished,
it over
but it
Alright.
is good.
I'm not
over
gonna-
and over.
No, that is a good
it is
show.
so good.
I'm not
I
really.
think the best shows I watched on Netflix would probably be Squid Games.
That was a
Oh,
good
yeah,
show.
that was a good one.
That was just so like That was very well written. Although it was like scary and like kind of crazy, a little weird, but it was well written.
I feel like it was needed for like the time and place we were like.
Oh,
like,
definitely.
that everybody was in.
yes.
Also, it was low key kind of like, yeah.
That-
That mad crazy.
Yeah.
That director knew exactly what he was doing when he was like, we need to put this out during the time that everybody is in where everybody's just cooped up. It's gonna scare them a little bit, but it's gonna like keep them wanting to watch.
Engaged,
like that's
yeah.
exactly what it did.
Definitely.
Definitely a good show.
You know, it took him 12 years to get that green lit.
Which I think is crazy.
Yeah, because he had that. Think about it. You have $1 million.
12 years.
You have $1 million idea that's sitting there, and you're going to multiple people, and they're just like, "No, we can't do this." You take it to Netflix, and it becomes the best show on the platform in 12 days.
That's crazy.
And it's
So 12 years, but 12 days to become number one.
yeah, exactly.
Crazy.
That's crazy.
I think that just shows a message of you're like, don't give up on your dreams.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
Not at all.
If you believe in
keep pushing.
something, do it to your full. Believe in yourself. You know what I mean?
And it introduced me to Korean dramas because I've never watched Korean dramas. Like I've watched like which is not Korean, it's Japanese. I've watched anime, of course,
right?
And like so I've been introduced to Eastern media. I would say, but I've never dabbled in Korean film or any form of Korean media. Like I know Parasite was really good, and that one
That was a good movie.
That was a good movie.
Yeah, what did it win? An Emmy or
I think
Oscar?
Oscar.
Yeah, okay.
That was a good
because that
movie.
movie's good, right? And so I was like, let me give Squid Game a chance. Let me see what this is all about, because I hear a lot about Korean dramas. Fantastic show.
Yeah.
Kind of scarring. Would not watch that with my dad. But I think another show that I personally think is the best on Netflix right now is Peaky Blinders. I know you might not have heard
so
of
many
it.
shows.
Yeah,
What
you
kind of
might.
show is that?
It's like I don't know if I can describe it here, but it's like a gangster show, but it takes place during like the early 1900s. So like the first season takes place right after World War I, and all these soldiers come back and they're trying to make it big in Birmingham. And so Cillian Murphy, great actor. He kills it as the lead role, or not kills it, but he does a really good job as the lead role. And I think that if you do have the time and you can stomach it, I've definitely considered watching it. It's really good.
I'm about to check it out.
Noted, I know.
Yeah, Peaky Blinders is pretty good. Season 6 just came out on June 10th.
I feel like with all these like streaming platforms, it just opened us up to a plethora of different new genres of shows and movies, which I think is really dope. And expanding to K-dramas and all the other new dramas that we're seeing, I think is really dope. And finally giving these creatives a platform to share their stories and their ideas and creativity, I think is just dope.
Yes.
But we can go on and on about shows because I have a
No.
whole list of shows.
I agree.
If we talking different platforms, I got you on more.
Oh.
I got you on
Okay,
more.
okay.
Don't worry.
Yeah, so you might want
We gotta
to go
shift
ahead
our
and
focus
continue.
back.
Yeah.
Shift our
Start
focus
our
back.
focus
Our
back to
core
the-
focus. I'm sorry.
Yes.
Phone just died, so you're gonna have to go with the
Okay.
questions.
Here, do you want to do it? Or?
Let's see, what's the next question? So back to the topic.
Okay.
Are you still personally affected by the feeling of being in lockdown? Meaning, do you still choose to be more cautious when thinking about going out and traveling nowadays, or have you found yourself to be more comfortable and lenient to the outside world?
I do double think about like things before I go out. Like, say I get invited to a party, I don't know if I'm gonna go. Like, how many people are about to be there? Is it really the best idea, or should I just stay home, put on a little Netflix show, or should I like not really take the risk of going out and getting sick, or live it up to the fullest and just pray and hope I do not get sick.
Yeah.
So I mean, like, it just depends on like the situation. You definitely have to like think about it. Like, don't just act on it that quick, because you might get sick. You never know.
I would hate to go through another lockdown like that, but I guess because of how long we've been in this predicament, I would be prepared.
Right.
How do you feel? Would you think if we did go through like another lockdown, you'd be prepared? Because I don't know. Not to ask a question, I'm just saying.
No,
I might go insane this time.
Yeah.
You might?
because
might
it's
go
like I
insane this
can't. You
time.
can't keep holding us
Yeah.
inside. I can't.
Yeah.
I can't. Keep
I
doing
can't go
it.
from being locked up, freedom, being locked up again,
Yeah,
freedom again. It's just not gonna work.
And it's just crazy because it's so prolonged. Like I feel like
Yeah.
a lot of people were like, okay, a few months ago, we're like, okay, we're coming to the end of the pandemic, but people are still like, we're still being very cautious.
Yeah.
So it's like, regardless, we're never gonna go back to like normal. It's kind of the new normal. So it's like, if it happens again, you just can't keep making us stay locked in. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's time to move past it. I think it is still good to be cautious about your surroundings. I think it's changed my perspective on like I'm cleaning almost everything now all the time. I'm staying, I'm keeping myself clean. If you cough near me, I'm stepping away. You know what I'm saying?
Immediately.
But staying locked in, I don't think I'll be ready for. I don't think I'd have the mental capacity for. I'll still power through somehow, but
Somehow.
I just, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I just couldn't do it. It's time for change. It's time to figure out how we can maneuver without having to lock us in. You know what I
Again,
mean?
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, one of the craziest things that happened to me during this, I went to another social event with my friends, and there was an individual that came up to me. This has happened on multiple occasions, but this one really stuck in my mind. This individual came up to me and said, "Hey, who are you? I don't know you. Take off your mask." And I said, "Why would I take off my mask?" And he's like, "Take off your mask. I don't know you." It was a frat party. There you go.
Right.
I can't say that. Yeah. So he was like, "Take off your mask." And I was like, and I realized this isn't my fraternity. So I was like, "Oh yeah." So I took off my mask and I took off like my glasses and I was like, "This is who I am."
Right.
He's like, "I don't know you." We got into a whole back and forth thing, and then he was like, "I'm just messing with you." But then I realized, I was like, why were you so adamant about me taking off my mask, bro? You know, like whenever somebody came by with like a mask on, he'd be like, "Take off your mask. What are you doing? Are you a nerd?" And I'm like, "Sorry for trying to be safe, man. I'm just trying to be Rona free, you know?"
Right.
And the
Yeah.
one time I did not wear a mask, unfortunately, it got me. So
Yeah.
yeah. So
Yeah. I don't think. Sorry. Okay. I don't think there's any shame in people. Like, I respect people if they want to go out and still
definitely.
wear your mask. I mean, hey, you doing
You double the precaution.
exactly. You going out, still having fun, and still protecting yourself. You know what I'm saying?
And people were
Um,
doing that before COVID too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It wasn't as common, but now
Yeah.
you see it more often. You know,
It's
I
like
have
it's
coworkers who
normalized.
just show up and they have their mask on. It is what it is. You
and
know
you
what I'm
said,
saying?
"Okay, yeah."
They're doing their own thing, and I think that just the same thing goes for people who don't want to wear a mask. I mean, there shouldn't be any judgment for people who don't want to wear a mask. They understand the risk that they're taking on themselves, but at the end of the day, it's our decision. At the end of the day, we're just out here trying to live our lives.
Yeah.
Just don't cough on me.
Agree. And I agree.
Exactly.
But then you like
That's just respect. Don't talk to nobody.
But then you like see the people that like they'll harass you
Yeah.
about
Yeah,
wearing the
that's-
mask.
Yeah.
They'll be like, "Why are you wearing the mask? It's not helping." Da 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 da. But like Aaron's point, he wore his mask all the way up until that point he didn't, and that one time he doesn't, he got corona.
Yeah, and I mean,
So it's like, wear your mask.
Yeah.
Like, there's a reason for the mask. It is working, but it's just like, it's ridiculous to me that people harass people for wanting
Yeah.
to stay safe, but still wanting to go out. Like, yeah, I want to have fun, but yeah, I still want to stay safe. Like, I don't want to get sick. So it's like,
Don't make you any less than the person
Yeah.
without the
It
mask.
really doesn't.
Yeah.
yeah, I think you should just let people do what they gonna do,
Yeah.
as long as it's
Their
not hurting anybody
decision.
else. You know,
Exactly.
Yep.
yeah,
Exactly.
that's how I feel.
Well, all right. Our last question. It kind of ties into what we were talking about before, so about hobbies and whatnot. So, do you have any advice for anyone struggling to pick up new hobbies or discover new things to do to spend their time this summer?
Definitely challenge yourself. Challenge yourself. Set high standard goals that you know that you could achieve. Like, don't set them too high to the point where if you can't achieve them, then you're disappointed in yourself. But set high standards for yourself. Have change in your life. Like, you don't want to do the same thing that you were doing in lockdown. Like, do something different. And if you did find something in lockdown that you did enjoy, continue with it. Like, explore on it. Like, make it bigger. Like, have a bigger picture of what you want to do. Definitely.
I'd say do it. That's all I can say. If you want to start a new hobby or something like that, just do it. Because a lot of people like to make that excuse that I'm too old to do this. I'm not strong enough to start doing this, or I'm not too this or that. They make excuses. Just do it. Just try it at least. At the very least, you know what I mean? I'll give you an example. Say you're in your 20s now and you're like, oh, I want to start doing martial arts, but you're like, man, I feel like I would have been so much better as a kid. Yeah, you would have. But now just think about it. When you get like to the age of, 28, 29, maybe even 30, you'll be unstoppable. You'll be a monster. Right. So why won't you do it now?
Right.
Start it. Do it.
Take that opportunity that you have.
Yeah, it's just your mind holding you back. Or external factors that, we can get into later. But like, it's just, don't let anything else hold you back. Yeah. Just do it, because you'll probably be very proud of yourself afterwards. You know what I mean? Most of the times, like, yeah, sure, you might stink at something initially, because we all stink at something, and we all don't get good immediately unless you're absolutely talented. And if you are, good job. but then again, just work on it, and then you'll slowly see improvements. And then after a while, you'll be like, I'm glad that I picked this up. It's worth it in the long run.
Right.
Yeah.
What was the question? Can you repeat the question one more time?
Do you have any advice for anyone struggling to pick up new hobbies or discover new things to do to spend their time this summer?
Gotcha. Just figure out what you like to do. Try new things. Anything you're interested in. Shoot, whatever it may be. You may not think you would like it, but who knows? But you have to at least try, or no, don't try. To try is to fail. At least do it. Do it, see how you like it. And you can't, slacken it or anything. You do it, Complete it. See how you like it. Did you like the process? Did you like how it felt? Did you like what you accomplished? Do new things. Just do new things. And hopefully you'll see what fits you. Think of things that you like to do when you were a kid that you haven't done in a while. Maybe pick up on that. For me, it was working out. I haven't worked out. I really stopped working out once COVID hit, and I wasn't doing track or basketball anymore. And I just kind of got lazy. And then once I started getting back into it, I now love it even more than I did when I was working out for school and stuff. You know what I mean? So just finding new things, finding what you used to like to do, whatever it is, just you have to do something. You can't sit there and think about it. You got to sit there, think about it, and then do.
Yeah.
That's good advice. I would say you are your own biggest supporter, and you're also your own biggest hater. So whatever, I think Aaron said this, but whatever you think that you can or cannot do, you're right, because regardless of what any outside influences are telling you, at the end of the day, it's really ultimately up to you. So if you want to take that risk and be your own supporter and be like, I'm gonna do this regardless, then there you go. In the long run, you probably accomplished something. Or even if you failed, the process taught you something. So I feel like everyone else is saying, whatever you want to do, if you've been thinking about it for a long time, just go ahead and do it. I need to take my own advice, but
bet on yourself.
I was gonna say, I said that. That's pretty good. All right, cool. Yeah, and also trusting God. That's very important. Yeah. If you're not going to believe in yourself, believe in the God that believes in you.
Yep.
That's
Amen.
good.
You can do all things
through Him.
Christ.
Yep.
Who strengthens you.
Amen.
Philippians 4:13.
There you go. There you go. Amen.
Well, everyone, that was our last question. So thank you all so much for being here and engaging in our discussion today. We really appreciate having you guys all on here.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. Okay, so be sure to tune in to episode 5. We don't know what the topic is going to be, but tune in to find out.
And I think that's about it. If you ever missed any of our old episodes, you can always tune in to YouTube to check out our old episodes from the first season and this past season. This is episode 4 now. So, episode 5 is next. But also be sure to stay tuned in to the Core Focus podcast on all your social media platforms like Facebook, Instagram, and, of course, YouTube. I think that's about it.
Yes. Also, lastly, if you would like to be on an episode or if you have any other topics that you would like for us to focus in on, be sure to email us at corefocus@corchurch.org. And like, comment, and subscribe, and share with your friends and your mom and your everyone.
That part.
But yeah, thank you all so much for watching, and we will see you all on the next episode. Bye, everyone.
Amen.
Peace.